Hello, AIO fans. We're going to take a look at something that I found. I've never really heard much of anything really about this brand, and so I was very curious and picked it up during Black Friday. Have you ever heard of GamePower? I've heard of GamePower. I just haven't heard of this AIO. It is the Skadi V2 360 AIO ARGB liquid cooling. And sorry, I can't really keep on holding it that way because that's my bad shoulder over this one. Well, not bad, it's healing in any event. So it does support MSI Mystic Light and Asus, which probably means it supports Gigabyte and the other ones as well. But it doesn't mention them on the box. Now I'm going to show you the specs that are on the box on the screen here, so you can take a look at those if you want to. I will also show you what's inside the manual, which is very, very, very small print. But basically, if I look at the specs, well, on the one hand, the pump has an RPM range that suggests that it's pretty powerful at the top end especially, which is a good thing in my experience. Not that I'm an expert, but in my experience, pump speed plays an important role. But fan speed also plays an important role. And they don't publish the fan speed. Well, they have the fan speed, which goes up to 2,000 RPM. But they don't, on the box, show the static pressure and the airflow. Now I looked, and their airflow is 78, which sounds really good, but airflow is something that works well when the fan is not obstructed. Excuse me. In other situations, you're going to have static pressure to push all that airflow through a barrier. And the radiator is just such a barrier that requires static pressure. So I did a little quick check just with my very highly technological skill of using my hand to measure static pressure based on the experience of doing that with over 400 fans. And the static pressure of these fans is somewhere between 1.5 to 2, which is, in my opinion, less than it should be, a lot less. Personally, I don't recommend fans under 3 millimeters of water for static pressure because they're just not going to be effective at moving the air through fast enough to adequately cool off the radiator, and thus the water gets cooled off, and thus the CPU stays cooler. Now, that said, if you have an AIO where it has a powerful pump, but the fans are weak, if the price is low compared to all the other AIOs out there, buy it and replace the fans with stronger fans. For example, you could get the Arctic P12 Max. You could get the Iceberg Thermal Ice Scale Extra. There are so many. There's Silverstone's got theirs, and I can't even keep them all in my head. Of course, there's the Fantex T30, and the list just goes on and on and on. So you could upgrade the AIO simply by swapping in better fans. Now, it only works up to a certain point. After a certain point, it ceases to produce enough of an improvement to make a difference. But just for your thought. When you're considering it. So this, as far as how long it's going to live, it doesn't say. It is compatible with both LGA 1700 and AM5, which is fantastic. And it has compliance with CE, UKCA, and ROHS. And of course, it's got 3 fans, and it's got the pump inside of the water block. Let's see. Nothing else on the outside. So let's take a look at what's inside. And don't worry, this is just an initial review. I'm not doing testing. I'm going to do testing later on, and I'll publish the results as I get through the tests. It takes me quite a while. Like, I've been testing a Manmu AIO that I got on Temu for about a month now. And I'm pretty much done as in terms of the passive testing, like, observational stuff. Okay, first of all, you get a trinket. And it's a little bit hard to see, but basically they've taken a key from a key, for a keyboard and turned it into a trinket to put on your keychain. Is it useful? I think they missed an opportunity. They should have put a lithium battery in here and turned this into IR or Bluetooth and turn this into a remote power switch. I think that would have been cool. Or something like that. Anyways, I think that would have been interesting. They also give you, because they want you to advertise that you've got their brand in your computer. They're a little bit puffy, a little bit thick. Well, not so much puffy, but they're thick. Yeah. And of course, congratulations on your purchase. And then there's the manual, and like, I can't read this without a magnifying glass. It's just so damn small for me. There it is. And we have the mounting equipment for AMD and Intel. Also, it comes with a spatula and some thermal paste. Let's see if I can see what kind of thermal paste it is. It's labeled GamePower. GP-T14 thermal paste specification. I don't know what thermal paste. I don't know why it says specification, but okay. And then it does have an adapter so that you can power this using the SATA cable from your power supply, which means it'll run at maximum speed, of course. And this looks like it might be gigabyte adapter for ARGB. Hold on. So actually, that is there so that if you don't want to or don't have a reset switch plugged into your motherboard from the case, you can attach that to the reset switch so it can be used to control the RGB mode. I guess that's an option for people who don't care about having a reset switch. And, you can just press the power button, hold down until it restarts. No big deal. It just takes several seconds, usually about 7. Okay, so there's that. Now let's take a look for a second at the specs. I'm going to use the website just to make it easier on my eyes and yours. All right, so as you can see, and interestingly, it doesn't mention here or in the manual that there is that cable until you get to the installation instructions, and then it mentions that there's that cable. So it's a little bit irritating, but so you got that stuff, and then it's compatible with all of these Intel and AMD sockets. And here are the fan specs. You can see 78 CFMs, 2,000 RPMs maximum, and they don't give the rest of the information, although we do have watts and amps, which is useful for all of you who are living somewhere where electricity is very expensive. And the water pump has a, so I don't know why they put the TDP here, but whatever. They should have called it the water block. And so the unit has a maximum TDP of 320 watts. Assuming that it centers over your chips in your CPU correctly. Bearing type, ceramic, which is good. Pump speed up to 3,000 RPMs, which is, That's weird. On the box, it says up to 5,000. So that's a question mark there. It will live up to 50,000 hours. So, figure out how many hours you're letting your computer run per day. Multiply that by 365, or sorry, divided by 365, or so on and so. You can figure it out, right? It gets up to 28 decibels, which probably once it's inside, you're not really going to notice it very much. Current maximum static pressure for the pump, which is helpful, is 2.06. So, yeah, that's okay. 2.4 watts, 7 volts for starting, and up to 13.2 to keep it going. And then here are the dimensions and the materials. The tubes are 400 millimeters, and so on and so forth. Right. So now let's actually take a look at the device itself. When you start it up, you may hear noise, and depending on the position, that'll determine how long that noise will last. So if it's like this, the air is going to tend to collect in this area, and that's going to make more noise. Whereas if you got it like this or something, it's on your shoulder, because that's where you're going to mount the AIO, right? It'll be quieter. Can you hear it? It's so quiet. Now, if I put my ear right by it, sure, I can hear it. There's a bit of an electronic sound to it. A little bit of a clattering. That's much quieter if you have it like this. Now let's see about this. Also very quiet like that. And as you can see, it's not quite like this. So most likely, this is designed with the actual pump intake mounted down here. See how noisy that is? So now it's got air in it. Yeah, now it's angry at me. All right, so pretty quiet. I'm gonna unplug this, and let's check out the fan sound. And I think I said the opposite of what's correct. The the ARGB is not daisy chained. The PWM is daisy chained. And for whatever reason, even though it's a pump that doesn't strictly need a PWM, it does have a PWM connector for the pump. So I've got them on. So this is, now I'm going to have it exhausting toward me. As you can tell, it was fairly noisy, and part of the reason it's fairly noisy is because the static pressure is so low, so it's struggling to push air. And I can feel when I had it blowing at me, there wasn't a lot of air going through the fan. There was more air going around the fan than through it. So yeah, it's definitely, if you get this, you want to replace the fans, unless you have a cool CPU, in which case you don't even really need this. Unless you're in a really hot place or something like that, maybe. So now let's see about the lighting. Now, for some, okay, right, yeah. So all I gotta do is daisy chain all this together, and we can take a look at that. What? Who turned out the lights? Oh no, Scooby-Doo, where are you? All right, so this is what the pump, or sorry, the water block looks like. It's On my screen, it looks pretty much just white, but it's, it's kind of, because the plastic is a frosted white, it looks pretty washed out, very, very pastel. However, the fans actually look much brighter in terms of the coloration. So now I'm going to turn on the fan so you can see the full effect, since with this kind of a fan, it's actually important to have them running to get the full idea. But I don't have to have the hurricane. So fairly standard. Not too bad. Not amazing. This is just one of many AIOs and air coolers, for that matter, that I need to do these initial reviews of. So this is the second one. The first one was the Thermalright Frozen Knot, which I reviewed last year. Let there be light. Ooh, the lights are back. All right, so I do have a question for you guys. I was wondering, instead of calling this an initial review, what if I call this a reveal? Just to differentiate it from an actual review, because I'm not going to compare it to the specs of the other brands necessarily. And, the specs aren't necessarily true either. And some companies are very reticent to provide specs that are important. Like there are some where I have no information on like voltage, wattage, amperage. Some of them don't give airflow and static pressure. Many don't give static pressure. It's very, very aggravating. So it's hard, just based on the specs from the companies, like I've been doing with the fans, to show you how they compare. And that will be, the next phase where I do the actual testing and report on the results for the AIOs, the fans, and the air coolers. That is a long process, especially since I work alone and I don't have a video editor and I'm crap at video editing. But, we all have our limitations, and between my lack of color coordination and my lack of ability to do a good job of video editing and my anxiety, and so I'll get these out as fast as I can, and then I'll do the air coolers, and then we can see test results and go from there so that you guys can have an idea. Now, I'm not going to talk about price, and the reason I'm not going to talk about price is because, as many people know, prices for many products are cheaper in America than most of the rest of the world, although there are some products like European products that are much cheaper in Europe. Chinese products are much cheaper in China, and so on and so forth. So where you're buying can have a big impact on which devices you should be looking at. So I'm not going to refer you to, well, I can't say I'm not going to refer you to specific vendors, because I think I really need to get affiliate links so that I can actually earn money, because this channel earns me no money, and it's cost me a lot of money, because I thought, I really hoped that Amazon wouldn't be as underhanded and dirty and scumbaggy as they are. So I had hoped that I would have short-term disability pay right now, and I have nothing. So, yeah. Anyways, this did come fairly well packaged. So inside the box, it came with this thin layer of whatever the name of this foam is. And then it's packaged in this foam very nicely, which is, I think it's better than the cardboard variant, because I've gotten some where they had just the cardboard insert that's shaped similarly to this, but it had not been overpacked. In other words, it wasn't packed inside of another bag. It was just our box. It was in a retail box only, like this, and it got the crap beat out of it. Fortunately, they survived the trip, but shipping an AIO or anything else without an extra boxes on the outside is just asking for trouble. All right. Well, that's the Skadi version 2. And if you have any questions or anything like that, please put them down below. Any comments? Do you think that I should call these reveals, or should I just continue to call them reviews? Do I need to go back through my 400 and some fan videos and change it from review to reveal? Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. If there's anything else that you thought I should have included in this reveal, would you please let me know so that for the next reveal, I can do a better job. So again, in the comments, if you've gotten this far, write either review or reveal, or if you have another suggestion, because we can't just call this an unboxing. I hate unboxing, because to me, unboxing is a waste of time. Because, yeah, it is. It just implies absolutely zero effort, and I put in a little bit of effort. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Need to ask for your help. I'm sorry. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon terminated me and used false accusations against me. And on December 17th, I had my left shoulder operated on. I'm getting a lot better. I can do some things with my hand and my arm, but it's still pretty limited. If you could please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications for my channels, that would really help. If you want to help me financially and you can afford to, you can go to my Glenn's Fast Reviews and you can do a super thanks as a donation there. If you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can become a member there. And or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to say thank you to bleepingcomputer.com for allowing me to post messages on their forum about my videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit them. They offer a lot of wonderful resources for people who are using computers. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Can you hear me? Oh, no. I really hate the clip for this microphone. It's just poorly made. Not enough pressure. Not quite long enough. But I'm not reviewing this.